What is up, everybody? So today I have a video. Let me put it out now that this is going to be a video about pressing, some information you guys might want to know. So if you guys want to get to pressing your own comic books, you can. But disclaimer, ahead of time, I'm not going to show you exactly how I press books. I'm going to give you tips and examples of books you can press and some information that will help you along the way. If you look on YouTube, there's actually a lot of videos that have people showing you how to press and everything else, so I feel like I don't need to show you that. I mean, it's putting it in the machine, pressing it and taking it out, but I will give you tips on how to help you better press your books so that way you get better results, hopefully better than what I get. So the first thing I want to go over is I had a couple questions on one of my other videos. I'm pretty sure you guys saw some of my other video where I told you guys, ask me some questions so that way we can go over some things that you guys want to hear. So give me a second here. I thought I was ready. Okay, so one question I have here is from Comics Addiction. He said whenever he grades books, he said he was sending out his key books for pressings and also has regular books that he would like to press. So what kind of presser do I need and what temps do I do a book, or does it depend on the age of book? So to answer some of the questions right there, Comics Addiction, a lot of people have different opinions on what presses to use. I use a regular t-shirt press, the ones that they do the heat transfers. For me, they work really great. Most people that think they know everything about pressing recommends to get a seal press. A seal press is going to run you around $1,000 for a good one, all right? Versus a t-shirt press, if you get a decent one, one that's a decent size, because I have two different sizes that I have for mine, they can run you around either $100 to about $300 some dollars. If you get them bigger, of course, they run you more. So that's what I use. You can listen to whoever you want. Get a seal press. Spend $1,000 if you want. If you plan on doing a business or whatnot, that's the only way I would recommend that you get a seal press. But one of the t-shirt presses works just fine. What temps? Every pretty much heat press is different. So I would just recommend to you experiment on the books. So that way you know what temps work and what don't and how long you should keep it in your press. So I don't want to necessarily give you a number because it may be too high on your press and you could ruin a book. So generally people don't go over 170 to 180. So I definitely wouldn't go over that. So stick around a little bit lower than that area. So that's what I would do personally. And yes, it does depend on the age of the book. The old paper type style comic books, like the old, all the way up to the early 90s, the newspaper style, those you could have on a press all freaking day. And I mean, I wouldn't have it in a really, really high temp, but you can have it in a press all day and it won't even ruin that book. So it does depend on the type of book and the age of it, because like these newer books with the Marvel and stuff like that, especially with the new Marvel books with the cheap ink and stuff that they use, you will literally turn your book into a piece of cardboard. So this is, I have here is a Gwenpool Holiday Special #1. I press this in a high heat so you guys can see what the difference is. Can you guys hear that? It is literally cardboard. And there's nothing in the book, that's just the paper that I press at a high heat. But the good thing is with these generation before the new Marvel books, these ones actually aren't too bad because you can still peel them apart. So you can hear the pages pulling apart right there, and then you can actually hear it cracking. I don't know if you guys hear that, but it's cracking. Just be careful when you crack it because you will put bends and stuff in your pages. But yeah, you can literally separate the pages. The newer Marvel books, they're going to be a whole lot more difficult to press if you guys have a high heat, because they will not come apart as easily as this. the colors will come off onto each other and you will be screwed. So you see in here, the colors are still bright, vibrant, you can still see them. If you do it with the new Marvel books, you will totally screw those books up. So, like I said, just be careful with those because you will screw them up. And if you guys press a book from Counterpoint, you know, the Do You Poo books, they're manufactured really well, but you have to have a very low heat, otherwise you will stick those pages together and you will not be able to get them apart. They will be stuck and you'll be screwed. You'll be out of a book and money, whatever you paid for it. So like I said, just be careful when you do it because they will turn into a brick. But like I said, the generation before, you can pull them apart. But the newest generation from Marvel, watch out, you will totally screw them up. All right. The comic otaku, he says, if I can show you how I clean books, I will give you some tips on cleaning, so we'll go over that right in a little bit. Comic Book Estate says, is it even possible to get spine ticks out? And those seem to be the most annoying. They are the most annoying. They're easier to get out on white books. If you have a colored book, if you have color break anywhere, you're screwed. A spine tick with color break, you're pretty much screwed. It's not coming out. You can get out spine ticks, but the problem is once you get them out, you have to be careful how you hold them because once you get that spine bend in there, it's easy to bend it again. So you got to be very careful with that. So you can get out spine ticks. I've gotten several spine ticks out before. If you know somebody that's pressed books with me, you can get out spine ticks, but they easily come back if you're not careful. Timothy Canadian Comic Hunter said he knows nothing about pressing, so hopefully after this video you will know something. The Martian Comic Hunter, he said he wanted to see my humidity chamber. There's nothing special about my humidity chamber. I basically have a stand in there that I put my books on, and I put silicone sheeting on there, so that way the books don't stick to anything, and I have a little bit of water at the bottom. That's all it is. Just be careful when you're using it. Watch out for the humidity on top. But pretty much humidity chamber, like I said, there's videos online that people show you a humidity chamber, so I feel like I don't need to show you that. You can look online, there's plenty of YouTube videos where people have shown their humidity chambers and how to make one. So that was pretty much all the questions that I had. Some things that I get from people all the time is they always ask me, can you press a book with signatures? Yes, you can press a book with signatures. It's no problem. If they use permanent marker or pen or just as long as they use that stuff, even if you apply steam or humidity, it is not a problem at all. They will not transfer off of it. They will not come off. The only way that they'll come off is if somebody signed their name in crayon. Other than that, you are perfectly fine in pressing those. So let's go with what CGC goes with on this. So they say you can enhance appearance and desirability, which is true. You guys will see that after you press books that you'll see a little bit of the gloss come back from the ink. I don't know if it's because it heat treats the ink to where it makes it pop again, but you will see that after it's pressed, some of that ink just, it brings back the gloss and it looks way better. Pressing, it says, is a process that can enhance appearance of a comic book by removing non-color breaking defects such as dents, bends, crunches, rippling, warping, spine rolls, and indentations. It neither adds nor takes away from the comic, making it a non-restorative process that will make a comic book restored. Dry cleaning a comic to remove soiling and any unwanted substance is also considered a non-restorative process and is included in CCS pressing, blah, blah. So whenever I do cleaning, I do not use any abrasives or any chemicals or anything to clean. So you don't have to worry about that. But obviously they don't either. They have two ways that they press. They have a quick press, which I've heard from somebody in the industry that they basically put your book in a press it for however long on one side, press the other side, and that's it. They don't spend any extra time on it. Like there's times I've spent where I've pressed books probably 5, 6 plus times just to get a book as best as it can get. So that's that. Their prices are as follows. Give me 1 second here. Because they're actually not too bad. It's just the turnaround time with CCS pressing, it takes forever. So they got the quick press with this. You can only have a 200 max value for a comic book. A modern is $8. Pre-1975 is $15. A walkthrough is about 11 business days. $150 minimum. It's a 2.5% FMV. What is that? Fair market value of the book that they'll charge you for it. Whatever the 2.5% is on the fair market value of that book is. I don't know how they determine the fair market value of that book, but that's what they charge you. It's a $150 minimum. That's for a walkthrough, $150 minimum. For Express, it's a 15-day turnaround. Max value of a book is $3,000. The price per pressing per book is $85. A standard book is a $1,000 max value, 18 business days, $60 price per book. Wow. Economy, that's $400 max value, 62 business days. Fast Track, you can get on that is 13 business days. That's $40. With Fast Track, it is $55. Value is pre-1975, so that's $200 max value, 62 business days. Fast Track, 13 business days, $25. Fast Track is $35. Modern 1975 to date, it's a $200 max value, again, 62 business days. Fast Track is 13 business days. Price per book is $12. Fast Track is $18. So those are their prices. They also give prices on their comic restoration removal. I'm not going to go over that, but that's basically what it is. So when cleaning books, there's certain things that I use. I use a high polymer white eraser. Do not, I'm telling you right now, do not use the pink erasers. You will discolor your book. You will discolor your book. Do not use these pink erasers. You will screw up your book, all right? The white ones work great. Make sure that before when you use it, clean it off. I always use my jeans, rub it on my jeans, and it'll clean it right off. And then you can go ahead and start cleaning the book. Another thing that I use is called Absorine. A lot of people won't tell you about this. It kind of looks like bubblegum or silly putty. Has a chemical smell to it. The great thing is that it will not rub off the color on your book unless you rub really, really hard. There's some inks that might bleed off a little bit. Just be careful on the book you use, that you use it on. But basically all I do with this Absorine, usually when I handle people's books, I always clean them off afterwards, but there's times I have to use bare hands, so I have to watch out. I always wash my hands beforehand, and then that's when I handle their books. So basically I get the Absorine. It's just like bubblegum, like I said. I take it and I roll it up, roll it into a ball, and then I take this little ball and I'll roll it by hand just like this, just like that, on top of the comic book, and it will slowly take dirt and grime away from the book, so that way you can clean it up a little bit. It works great on white areas. I always use it on the back covers usually. Usually I use it more on the front covers because it's not as harsh and won't take off. It won't make the colors remove from the cover anywhere, so it's a little bit more safe. It's just be careful when you're using this because it sometimes will leave a residue, and if you don't get it off in an ample amount of time, it will dry on the cover of the book, so be careful with that. I have ways that I use to get it off if it does happen like that, but just be very, very careful with it. But again, be careful around color areas also. Don't rub too hard. Just let the Absorine do its job. There's also a Absorine sponge that you can use. I don't have one here because I threw away my last one because it was too dirty. Basically, it works almost the same way, but it's a sponge. I mean, you can't roll it up or anything like that. It's an actual sponge. And basically, you can wipe the covers off to get off dirt and grime and everything on the cover. You can look it up, Absorine sponge. And just be careful with that also, because it will rub color off. So you can't be too rough with the Absarine sponge. So basically all I do is use this Absarine. I also use some really soft Kleenex. Make sure there's no additives in the Kleenex, just regular old Kleenex. And I'll use it to wipe the book before and after. I also use a brush to brush off the leftovers, the residue from the erasers and everything else. Just brush it all off to the side, and that way you can take care of that. I can't think of anything else that I use when cleaning books or whatnot, but I will give you guys a sort of what happens with a quick press and a extended period press. So I have a couple books here. One is this Daredevil #1 that I have right here. Give me a second, guys. Alright, so it's Daredevil #1. You can see that it has defects all over it. You can see that all over the place. Has bends and everything all over the place. See that right there on the cover? It's coming up. That'll be fixed. A lot of these blemishes and stuff or pressable defects will come out. There's some stuff here. I don't know what that is. There's some like residue there. It seems like somebody was eating something or something when they were reading their book. Of course, probably a kid. When you have books like this, be very, very careful though, guys, because when pressing books like this, since the covers are very brittle, like if you take a look on the inside, this staple is detached from the front cover. Alright guys, be very, very careful. This, where is it? Hold on, give me a second here. Now right here, the staple is still attached, so you got to be very, very careful. It looked like somebody tried stapling like different areas of this book before. So like I said, when you guys press stuff like this, be very, very careful. You don't want to piss a customer off. I already notified him that the cover is attached from the front staple. It's perfectly fine in the back. There's a, hold on. There's a split over here on the front cover also, right here. So it's a little bit of a spine split. Other than that, beautiful, beautiful book. We'll take a look at the back. Of course, there's a lot of defects on the back. Look at all those defects. Most of this junk, you will see all these ripples and stuff. Most of these will come out. Some are hard to get out, like the ones that have really bad bends in them. Like this one over here. You'll probably get it out, but you won't fully get it out 100%, but it will look way better. So, yeah, so that's one book that I'll be pressing. That book I will not be doing a quick press on because I want to minimize the amount of times that I handle the book, because I don't want to mess that book up. So minimize it. So this book, it was a 6.5 Hulk 181 from CGC. He bought it. I cracked it out of the tomb it was in. Took it out, 6.5. I'll keep his label. When he gets it regraded, I'm gonna have you guys. I'm having send me a picture of it graded afterwards, so that way I can show you guys. But this one has a lot of defects also. So if you see here, you got little spine bends. You can get these spine bends out, like I said, and minimize them, but usually they're so bad with the ticks. Like this one has a bad tick on it. That stuff you can't get out. Stuff like this right here, you have like cover wear. So that's rubbed off, it's color rub. Looks like there was something on here like a liquid. So that's probably what attributed to it. Maybe there's some moisture somewhere. But other than that, I mean, it's a beautiful book. You're going to have stuff like that that you can probably get out. That's the bends, but the color breaking on there, no, you're not going to be able to get that out. This book will look totally different when we're done. Much cleaner too. So this is the back. So you got some bends over here. You see all those little defects and stuff there. Defect here. It's pretty dang dirty all the way over here. If you guys see, it's dirty. We'll end up getting that off. It's dirty all the way over here where the staple is at, so we'll get all that off. All the way up here, that's all dirt right there. So that's the second one. This Hulk 181, this is probably one of the top books that people send me. I've probably pressed about 10 or 15 of them already, but that is the #1 book that people send me to press, besides New Mutants 87, New Mutants 98 lately. All right, so this is Showcase Presents number 79. This is actually a really beautiful looking book. You see it has that crease here. That will most likely get all the way out. It has some indents up at the top up here that we will get out. And this book will look beautiful afterwards. It has a few little spine bends, but the great thing is there's not really color break on them, so that's the even better thing. The only thing that has color breaking is on the back where the subscription crease is at. It's all the way down. You see here the red is gone. Red is gone here. There's a little bit of the yellow that's gone over here. So I mean, you guys see that. We'll most likely get most of this out. I will put this in my humidity chamber along with that Daredevil #1 because my humidity chamber is big enough to fit 2 books in there at one time. That's why I made it like that, just for this fact. But this book will look beautiful when we're done with it. Next up I have here for you guys, this is just a book I want to show you guys. So if you guys see books like this where you see a lot of white over here on the side, if the staples aren't in front and not on the side, then it's not that it's stapled wrong, it's because you have a spine roll. This is a great indication of a spine roll. If you guys buy a book, if the staples are facing the front, then you got a spine roll. So look at the back, you see how far it is over with the spine roll. So we'll end up getting that out and probably clean it up a little bit, but I'll show you guys the 10-minute press with this, and I'll show you guys the difference between a 10-minute press and a 24-minute press. You see all the defects on there, all these defects. We'll get a majority of that stuff out so you guys can see. All right, last but not least, this one has moisture damage. You guys see all the ripples on the book? It's not that it had water on it necessarily, but there was a lot of too much humidity. So if maybe somebody had a box, let's say in a basement, and they had a flood or whatnot, and all the moisture got through the bag into the book, and so you can see all the ripples. A lot of times you'll know if it's water staining because you will see the stains from the water. So that's when you know that it actually got water on it. But this is mostly in the middle. See that staining right there? So it just got humidity on it. Otherwise you would see the staining all the way through the book if it was in water. But yeah, see the ripples all the way through the book? Got ripples over there, ripples. And on the back, ripples, 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 believe it or not. So maybe somebody did get water on this. But you can clean this stuff up. Has a rusted staple right there, of course, because of water. So we will get these ripples out of this book too. Alright guys, so that is pretty much it for information I'm going to give you. If you guys have any other questions that you might want to ask later on, ask me, and I'll either make a follow-up video or I'll just answer your questions in the comments. So the next thing, like I said, I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick 10-minute press and a 24-hour press and show you guys the difference between the two. Alright, I'll see you guys when I get back. What's up guys? So I'm back. So I have a example of a CGC quick press for you guys. This is basically a 10-minute quick press. Basically no preparation, because that's what they don't do. They just basically put it in the press, no clean, nothing. Put it in the press it for about 10 minutes, and then send it on its way. So I showed you guys these books earlier, and so I'm going to show you guys what happened after a 10-minute quick press. All right, so this one we have that Stalker book. If you take a look at the Stalker book, nothing really changed. You can still see all the little ripples in there from the water damage it had. So it kind of just flattened the book out a little bit, but it really didn't do much. Got a corner ding over there. So that was a quick press on that. Let's see the back. You can see still a bunch of ripples in there. So if you guys pay for a quick press, make sure the book is almost perfect, because you will not get good results out of it. So that's that. Next up I have is Showcase Presents number 79. So I did a quick press on this one. It flattened it. I mean, this wasn't a bad book, but it flattened it. You can still see the crease in the middle because of the centerfold crease, the subscription crease. I mean, there's some stuff up here still that needs to be taken care of. I'm gonna see if I can get that off. But I mean, overall, it's a beautiful book. So it's a little dirty still too. I gotta clean it up. Like, there's some dirt here all over the place. So I'm gonna come back after I clean and get this thing ready, and then I'm gonna put it in the humidity chamber and then press both these again and see how they come out. So hopefully we'll get some better results. All right guys, talk to you later. All right guys, so I just showed you guys the difference of a 10-minute pretty much quick press, that the effect it has on a book. So now I'm going to show you pretty much after it's been in the press for about 24 hours. I'll show you guys the difference. Right here was that Stalker number 3 that I had shown you guys. You guys see all those ripples are gone. Pretty much everything is gone on there now. You can hardly see anything. There's a little bit of ripplage, but that was mostly due to water damage. And then the back, all those really big ripples are gone. I didn't clean this, of course, because this is just a throwaway copy. So I didn't clean this, but you can see that all those ripples are gone. All these stuff you see here, like the black stuff, it's not ripples, those are just the dirt from the water damage. I could have cleaned that, but like I said, this is a throwaway copy. Next is that Showcase Presents 79. Remember that really prominent subscription crease in the middle? It's almost pretty much gone. So you'll still see a little remnants of it. It's hard to get it all out because it's been creased like that for so long. The paper has sort of like a muscle memory to it, so it'll retain some of the issues that it has. And even over time, sometimes the issues will come back. But you see how much better that looks? The person who sold this to me graded it like a 4.0 copy. I think it's much higher than now. What do you guys think it would be? But it looks really beautiful now. Like I said, this bad subscription crease, you're not going to be able to get that out. It has color break and everything else on it. So other than that, I mean, it looks really beautiful. Before I submit this, I'm going to realign this and get this alignment issue back together so that way it looks straight. That way they won't ding you too much on it. Other than that, it's beautiful. Yeah, so going on, if you guys want any information, like if you go on to ETA Nick's channel, he has pretty much pretty good show DIY cleaning with white erasers and DIY how to get out a spine roll. So if you guys want to check those out, go to ETA Nick's channel. I'll leave a link in the description so that way you guys can check that out too. But appreciate you guys watching. All right. Alright guys, what's up? So I'm back. You guys already saw a 10-minute press. Now I'm going to show you some more 24-hour presses that I've done. So this one is the Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny. So if you guys remember, this had a huge spine roll in the back. So now we're going to take an up-close look at it. So we'll take the camera, take a look at it. So as you guys can see, a lot of the defects are gone. It looks really, the cover looks really great. Looks really great. It came out well. I did not clean this one because I wasn't worried about it. It was just something I was going to use it just for, so you guys get a reference for it. So some of this leafing that you see on the cover, you see how the cover's coming up a little bit. When this sits inside a bag and a board for a little while, it will push it back down. And like I said, I just took this out of the press early, so that's why there's a little bit more leafing in here. But if you leave it in a press longer, it'll definitely come out better. So remember that big spine roll we had on the back, guys? Look at that. Spine roll, where'd you go? You're gone. Look at how beautiful that looks. So even now. That spine roll is gone. See the staples here? The staples are back on the side where they're supposed to be. See that? So that came out really well. Next up I have is the Incredible Hulk 181 that I have pressed also. This is a 24-hour press. Remember all the defects that were in this, all those little ripples and creases and bumps and everything on here. Came out really, really beautiful. Very beautiful. Take a look at the back. Remember how dirty it was on the back? Look how clean it is now. That was after a dry clean and a 24-hour press. You saw the 10-minute presses how they come out? That's what CGC or CCS does. If you get a quick press, it's about a 10-minute press. In and out, there's no dry cleaning or anything. The more expensive press, yeah, they do dry cleaning and everything else of those. So that's the Hulk 181. Came out beautiful. Now last but not least, Daredevil 1. Look at how much flatter that is. How much more beautiful that is. It had some like food up here that I had gotten off. It was like stuck on there, but I got it off without damaging the book. So, but look at that. All those ripples and stuff are gone. It is so nice and flat now. So nice and flat. I love how these older books come out. The cover is a little bit detached, so you got to be careful with this book. So this book also had a little bit of a spine roll. You see that little bit of a spine roll here? I did not fix it because the paper is so brittle that I don't want to detach the staples even more. Like I mentioned last time, somebody had extra staples in here to keep it together, and then somebody took them out, but they had staples all the way down here. You guys see the holes right there? And so I cleaned it up a little bit. Like I said, I will not take out that spine roll because I don't want to take a chance of messing up the book more because the paper is so brittle. But it came out so much more beautiful. Look at that. It is so flat now. Alright guys, 24-hour press. So, like one thing also that I didn't mention to you guys, but I have a cold press that I made. There's somebody on YouTube that they gives you the directions on how to make a cold press. So I took their cold press and I made one, and I do use it for when I have to press numerous books and I need to put some in a cold press so that way they can sit overnight, just in case, so that way I can keep pressing books. And the only thing I didn't like about their cold press was the way that they set it up is that when you tighten down the press on the books, it bows in the middle. So I'm a mechanical thinker. I get it from my dad. He's a mechanic. And so I kind of took their concept and I made it even better. So I made it to where it doesn't bow in the middle anymore and you get such a nice flat press out of it. So I'll try to find their YouTube video and put a link in the description so that way you guys, if you want to make a cold press on your own, I won't show you mine because that's my thing. But if you guys want to try and mess with it and see if you guys can make one on your own, then have at it. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description. But that's it guys. Appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any more questions, hit me up, let me know. I'll try to answer any more questions I can. But you guys see how beautiful a 24-hour press does versus a 10-minute press. Makes a huge difference. So if you guys do go with CCS, you know what the difference is between the quick press and the prolonged press. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.